she has this form, and it's from Austria, and therefore it is not in English.
Oh yeah, that.
And so it was an interesting form. What was it? What was that word?
Well, it's dedication document is the translation from Google Translate, but in German it's Widmungsschein.
Could you spell that for me?
WIDMUNGSCHEIN.
Okay. Because I found a sample of it online, and so I just thought I'd show folks what it looked like. So I'm going to go to a quick share screen here.
And I'm looking it up.
Yes. And
A shine like that is a form, a piece of paper.
Right. And so I found it online, and this is another example of using Google Translate. So the original web page was in this language because I'm viewing a European website. And so this is a Widmungsschein for Georg Holub. That didn't do me a lot of good, but the English translation, so it says he's not yet assigned to any branch of arms, moved George Georg 1888 on October 7th to the Heavy Howitzer Division, 1st Train, dedication certificate, KUK Supplementary Command #1 in Vienna. So we saw all this stuff, and it was like, well, that's really interesting. What is it? And this was literally the only web page I found on Google with that word, which is a first. It's like we have come up with an original question on Google. So, you know, why were these certificates created? At what point in a person's military service was it created? All of these questions, and Google failed utterly. So Linda's going to be looking for answers. I Googled for military document forums, and I found a forum that you know, had people who were dedicated to, you know, one of these amazing, well, actually, let me see if I can find that. Let's see. All right, so I Googled Austria military World War I forums, and I found this Axis forum, and it has all these different groups on it. And so let me see if I've got,
Hey, are you recording?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a little thing up in the.
oh, good, yes. I'm pretty sure I said it for,
Okay.
so
Remind you.
I registered and you know, signed up. And they've got just all of these groups, you know, a whole group, of course, on history, a whole group on equipment, a whole group on collecting stuff, allies, World War II, other eras, research help, oh, translation help, I should have posted it there. So there's all these forums out there, and you can see that they've got quite hefty groups behind them. And so I look forward to hearing what you discover, Linda. So
let you know.
we need to know, because this is really the first time Google has completely failed.
Well, okay, they haven't failed. You
well-
can just officially say that you're smarter than Google now.
Right, I know, I have a question that Google can't answer. But that just, that just really amazed me. Normally as genealogists, we're going to run into documents, but everybody, other people have run into them. And clearly people have run into them because you can buy them if you're into collecting, war memorabilia, you can buy these things. So it's just what I always say, when you get a document, you want to know, what am I looking at? So that'll be interesting to see, Linda. That'll be interesting to see.
Kay,
Yeah.
can you, I see the English translation next to the document. Could you point to the places in the document that those words appear? In other words, where does it say not yet assigned?
What I'd want to do is I'd want to go back and forth. So it's going to fairly follow what,
Okay.
and to say shortly, no, I don't know. And actually, this information here is not necessarily, so this information is
yeah.
not an exact transcription of this.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Right, this is what somebody's put down as being sort of like an abstract of this. So I don't know. There's just a lot of questions about this.
Yeah.
We definitely would want to learn more. And that actually is a good lead-in to Brian's question, because Brian had a question to Bernie that I've forgotten what the question was, because of course I've gone off on my own direction. And so I ended up,
That's unusual.
I know. Normally I'm, laser focused. But so I ended up researching this this family of George Doyle. Actually, the question started with John Thomas Doyle. And so we had all of these collected sources of John Thomas Doyle, and had his World War I draft registration card. I think every generation needs to have a war with a draft so that we can have these registration cards, because they are just chock full of stuff. And so we know it's our John because his wife is Etta Mary, and that's, that was a known fact. And so it tells us that he was born on July 1879. So then in further research, I came across, and at this time I didn't know that George was his father. So I came across the 1880 census for a John T. Doyle. And when I looked at that census, well, I will ask you, how is it that I know that absolutely this has got to be my guy? So here's John T. He was 11 months old. He's born in July. He's living in Mobile. So how many John T's are going to be born in July of 1879 in Mobile? Probably not many. And of course, we're going to, make sure that there aren't multiple, but there weren't multiple. And so there were other things that were interesting to me. And this is what made me see that Linda's problem is a segue into this one. And that is, I was looking at Thomas A. Doyle and his occupation, Colton Ranger.
Cotton.
And, you know, I went to Google. We always go to Google, right?
Mhm.
And I said, well, this is going to be easy. You know, I'll type in Colton Ranger.
Is it Cotton Ranger?
Well, it sure didn't get me anything with Colton Ranger because it didn't understand it for Mobile, Alabama. Colton Guard Station is in Utah. Colton Nichols, so I'm getting nowhere there. So then I thought, okay, maybe it's a Cotton Ranger. Maybe it's a Cotton Ranger, Mobile, Alabama.
Makes sense.
Said, okay, let's try putting Cotton Ranger in quotes. And no, I don't have anything there.
Well, you did a minute ago. Okay, if you'll go back, you've got a picture of them right there.
Of what?
Cotton Rangers. That's what they did.
Images.
They drove the buggies hauling the cotton
Really?
from
I'll be darned. Okay, so
Yeah.
I would have
at the
just,
docks.
as I did, pass that right by. Let me pull that out.
They'd probably bring it from the ships to the, or at least samples of it, unloading it and bring it to the exchange, which is pictured
Okay.
there as well.
Does that have the word ranger in it? Okay, so that doesn't have the word ranger in it. Have you run into that term Cotton Ranger before?
No,
Okay.
I wonder
So-
why they put images of it, though. It says images for Cotton Ranger.
Well,
And
the only thing that I have restricted is Alabama.
yeah,
So it is returning a very flexible,
Yeah.
their guess. The best guesses tend to be towards the top.
what if you took away Mobile and see if it's a general term?
Right. So they returned something that they thought, well, maybe this will be useful, but it doesn't have the term ranger at all. So basically, no, this is not a useful result. Google tried, but it didn't succeed in providing me something that answers my question, what is a Cotton Ranger? We've got a picture of a cotton, that's where the word cotton is, and in Mobile, Alabama. But that doesn't answer our question of what a Cotton Ranger is.
What are some of the other images under
What-
the pictures?
Remember,
says-
we've got 1 million, almost 2 million results. We need to narrow it down with a little more confidence. So I want to make absolutely sure that I'm looking for the right thing. It really looks like Colton, but I'm going to let it be that we'll try with Cotton because we got nowhere with Colton. So I'll try putting that in quotation marks. And that is saying I absolutely want these two words together. And I absolutely want the word Alabama to be on the result itself, because we're talking about a census in Alabama. So it is a term that is being used in Alabama. So let's see if we get any results here. And we've got, let's see, we've got Army Rangers, but you know, this doesn't really look relevant to the 1880 census.
What are the documents pictured there?
So if we go and look at images, you can see that they've really just pulled names. Tom Cotton and Army Rangers, and here we have something from Chronicling America that, let's see, I'm not sure if we're able to do a search on this. No. So in this, there's possibly the word cotton and the word ranger, but even though we have given it the constraint that we want to have those two words together, it's just not finding anything. So it is returning us second best. Below is a list of Ralph Cotton's Ranger. We have something 200 bales cotton, and then in the OCR it has the word ranger next to it, but it's definitely not a discussion about cotton rangers. The other thing that I could try is this is at the profession, occupation, or trade. And so I can go in and try typing in and seeing, we're just not getting any good matches. So
You just put Cotton Ranger.
well, I got the, Humvee Cotton Ranger vest with hideaway hood. You can buy that on Amazon. So Ralph Cotton's Ranger.
Cotton Ranger in, what was it, 1800s or whatever year you had?
Right. So I did not get anywhere. And so twice in one day, I have gotten a complete failure from Google. So Brian, I would be really interested in hearing what
just
you're
curious
able to
about
find
those
out about that, because it seemed
I'll
to
look
be
at it.
significant enough.
Yeah, I had come across that about a week ago, and I figured it was something to do with getting the cotton from the port. I'd be curious at those images that are the newspaper pages, if there aren't perhaps classifieds advertising for the job.
Right.
So
that would be worth looking at. The thing is, I would expect that I would have run into that term before.
Yeah.
And I've never run into that term. I would suggest researching Thomas Doyle a little further into the future.
Okay.
To learn more about him. But that was another digression.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to take a little time on today, this 1880 census is really giving us a tremendous amount of information. And it really did a lot to help me build a family. And so I wanted to talk about some of the things that I did on the family tree in order to build this family out. So what do we know? We know that we have the head of household named Margaret Kelly. She has a son, George W. Doyle, and she has a daughter-in-law. So we have a mother, a son, the son's wife, and we have 2 grandsons. We can jump to the conclusion that these grandsons are the children of George and Joanna.
How old is she?
Yeah, she's only 37 and her son's 26.
26?
Right? That's another thing. It's like, could she be a stepmother? So we're going to want to explore that. And then we have
They don't have
Thomas-
the common surname either.
No,
Right, exactly. So then we have Thomas A, who's 27. Thomas A. Doyle. He is a nephew of Margaret.
I haven't come across Margaret except here. I don't remember. I've got his wife on the tree, but
Right.
I don't think it's a Margaret Kelly.
Well,
And
we go
Joanna,
with what the records tell us.
yeah,
and-
and Joanna is really stumping me.
Right. So we go with what the records tell us.
So notice
And-
that the last name is Kelly and the rest of the children, last name is Doyle. That's very interesting.
So what does
Including the
that
nephew.
suggest to you? Let's hypothesize for a minute that Margaret is not lying and that George is her son. Why would she have a different surname from him?
Because she had him, if she had him at 11 years old, is that what that would be?
yeah.
Then she probably, that's probably, Doyle's probably her maiden name. Maybe she's been married to a Kelly. We're in the 1880s, so
How can a woman have a child at 11?
I know,
She's
that goes back to one of my
lying about
cases.
age.
Now, do we accept that a woman who says she's 37 is 37?
Yeah, right. She could have lied about her age.
Let me ask you this, have you seen her on another census?
So
That's
that's
the
something
only
else we're going to
census
want
that
to do.
she's appeared on?
We're going
Do they-
to want to research Margaret. This age looks really suspicious. We're questioning whether she's even George's mother. Is there some error about this relationship? The fact that George is her son and Joanna is her daughter-in-law and Patrick and John are her grandsons really, really says.
Aha, I found a flag on the play. All right. 1900 census, there appears Margaret Kelly in the household of George Doyle, and it says that is his mother because he's head of household. It says she is 76.
Okay, so is it now let's think about in
That would have been 20
1880,
years, 56.
what are we looking at? Remember, we're looking at a transcription. The census taker went out in the field, took notes on a sheet, took that sheet back to the office. The office got copied over. The office copied over this sheet, sent one copy to the federal government, sent one copy to the state government, and they kept the county version. What do you bet that 37 should have been a 57?
57, yeah.
Okay.
I've got them. First of all, there are two George Doyles, and that's really been confounding to have two and even three John Doyles and George W. Doyle. And I have this under the tree, but I don't have her. I mean, if I could pull the tree up, but I've lost my new
Well, give me a
window.
few minutes because
So-
we're going to go into the family in more depth and we're going to be
That's-
looking at more records about them.
Can I ask one question? Does the census recognize like stepmothers, stepchildren? Do they document it like that?
Yes, they would. They would have documented as a stepchild.
Okay, great.
And remember, if you've got that question, we go to Google. Google does not fail us all the time. And we would look up 1880 census instructions. And let's pull them up. And I actually like to see the one that is the original looking version. let's see. And of course, this time I can't find it. Let's see if that works. So we may not get to see the, yeah, there we go. I like to see the booklet itself. Well, I normally see the booklet itself when they do that. Okay, well, they're not going to let us see the booklet itself. So, names, personal description, occupation. Okay, and entering the names, father, mother, ostensible head. The family name is to be written in the first column and the full first or characteristic Christian name in order thereafter. It is not giving us the details. Maybe I'm imagining it from a later census. That the details on relationships. It is not providing much, maybe in the 1880 census, they weren't providing much instruction. My experience has been that they generally do provide more detail. Now, one thing you can do is you can look around. There we have an orphan. And we have sons, daughters, servants, and so forth. Okay. All right, so I know we're going to go in 18 different directions because this one is got a lot of interesting stuff. So one of the first things that I want to talk about is just a very structural thing. How do I go from this complex census to a detailed family on the family tree? So if you'll review the attachments, and let me move at this stage, let me move over to George, because from George, we're going to be able to see, and you're going to see ahead some of the stuff that I've got, so I might as well tell you, Margaret is actually Margaret McElroy.
And that's also Margaret Kelly.
Correct. So she was Margaret McElroy. She became Margaret Doyle. And by 1880, she was Margaret Kelly. So that's telling us that we've got at least one more marriage for Margaret that needs to be, okay, now we're a full complement. So we've got one more marriage that needs to be found for Margaret. Now, let's see. Okay. This is odd. I had made some additions, but I don't see them, so I will make them again. Let's see. All right. So what the census is telling us, and let me get rid of some of these things.
You made it, Linda. I'm glad.
Yeah, it took
Yes,
a
the
little
transition is always hard the first time. Okay. So we've got Patrick. And okay. So no, I had made an error here. Okay, we're gonna fix this. I made an error here. I meant to attach Patrick and Joseph to a sibling of George's, and I accidentally attached Patrick and Joseph as children of George and Joanna. So I'm not the only one who makes mistakes like this. I am not despondent about it. I'm going to go and fix it. So I go to George, and we're going to open up his page. And we know that if they are nephews of Margaret's, okay, this is where it comes in. All right, so Thomas A. and Mary J. are nephews of Margaret's.
Niece and nephew.
Niece and nephew. Their last name is Doyle. Are they going to be her blood nephews and nieces, or her nephew and niece by marriage?
By marriage.
By marriage. So that means that they are going to be the children of somebody who is
Doyle.
a sibling of Margaret's husband. All right, so we want to go to Margaret's husband, and we want to create siblings for them. Now, here's the thing. When we look at this census, we have Thomas and Mary Doyle, ages 19 and 27, and we have a Richard Highland, age 30. So we are going to make an assumption that Richard is also a nephew of Margaret's husband. That may be wrong.
Couldn't they be on her side a nephew of, let's say, her sister?
Right, Richard could, well, so you're saying that perhaps her sister married a Doyle?
Yeah, instead of going
Right.
through her husband, couldn't it be going through her side of the family?
Exactly. We don't quite know, but we're going to start with an assumption. And remember, we can adjust that as time goes by. So we're going to start with the assumption that George William is the uncle and Margaret is the aunt by marriage. This is not something that is chiseled in stone. So I've created a brother and a sister. Now I created the brother, assuming that the brother is the father of John Doyle and, is the father of Thomas and Mary Doyle. And I created the sister, assuming that the sister Doyle married somebody named Highland and had a son named Richard. This is just for keeping my brain having all of this together.
But isn't that kind of a lot of assuming based on one census?
Yes, but I
Because
need to have a place to start. I need to have a way to connect these people. I am not done with my research. I've got George, I've created the brother and sister, and the brother, when I go to him, I have added Thomas and Mary as his children.
We're just starting with a theory that we're trying to prove or disprove
Exactly.
so that we can move forward and actually find where these people fit in the family.
I do know that there is a relationship. And I can hypothesize that relationship on the basis of this census. I want to put people into the tree to the best of my knowledge. Now, we're going to still need to do research. So I would say for collaboration, I will add a note that Thomas and Mary Doyle as, let me see, as nephews of, not nephews, nephews of George W. Doyle and
Senior,
what's his number? Right, I'll just put his,
GWD1.
there you go.
Let me,
Okay, so I will say that 1880 census shows Thomas and Mary Doyle living in household headed by Margaret Kelly, who was married to George W. Doyle Sr. See marriage certificate on her profile. Let's add her profile number.
GWD8.
Oh, I'll just, when you click on the profile, it gives you the option to copy it. And it makes it very easy to take it over. So I'm going to put down what I know. The 1880 census shows Thomas and Mary Doyle living in household headed by Margaret Doyle, and listed as her niece and nephew. I hypothesize that because their surnames are Doyle, that they are blood relations of George Doyle Sr. Okay? And I copy that to my clipboard just in case I decide to put it somewhere else. All right, so I'll save that. In other words, I'm leaving a trail that explains to other researchers, if I get hit by a car today, they will see, okay, I can see what was going on. And I'm going to go through this, the sister, and you can see that I've got her and I've got Richard, and I will put the same collaboration note. Okay. Okay. So we've got a lot of guessing going on here, but and we can leave additional pieces of information. I can click on this edit box. It opens up the parent-child relationship box, and I can put my note there as well. Actually, I should show that that is Richard Highland. All right. So we leave lots of notes for people. Here I can make any adjustments. If I decide no, the mother is wrong, I can go in and I can remove the mother. I can add a father. I can change the relationship type to adoptive, foster, guardianship, step. So these pencil boxes next to the individual's name give you control over a lot more information. I can add sources that are specific to this relationship. I could add the 1880 census. So if I take this 1880 census and I go to add it to my source box, and I could say it's Margaret Kelly household in 1880 census. And I could even add information that I wanted to: son, daughter-in-law, niece, nephews. Okay. So then I can go to Richard Highland here, and I can add the source that verifies the relationship of Richard Highland to this female Doyle. I can add it right here, that 1880 census. So if people are like, why did she do that? I'm giving them lots and lots of clues. And that's what makes this a very powerful platform for research. You can document what you're doing. And so I recommend that you do document what you're doing. I want to go in and correct this one.
Okay, I have a comment when you have a break.
Yes.
If you'll go to the tree and go to one of the Doyles, like John Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Okay, do you want to see the pedigree?
Go to the tree, yeah.
Okay.
Now on mine, I'm looking at a lot of blue squares that are hints for information on a lot of these people, and I don't see them on yours.
That is kind of odd. Maybe I turned it off.
See if you can get it.
Yes, I turned it off.
Okay. Show
So I
the
can
hint.
show the things that
Okay.
I want to see.
What I wanted you to do is tell Brian about clicking on the person's name and then going to the little blue box on, just click on George W. Doyle for an
Right.
example.
All right. So let's go to George's profile.
How did you bring the tree up for him? When I go to sit tree, it brings up my family tree. So how do I do, wait,
If
oh, I
you
see it now.
click on
V.
You have to-
tree here,
I see V tree.
right. So
Okay.
this tree is your tree. This tree is his
It's
tree.
his tree. Got it. Okay, I found you. I'm with you now.
Okay.
Sorry.
So now we're on George. We've got these research helps. And let's actually go to John Thomas.
I didn't know about that either, by the way. Thank you, Bernard.
Okay.
All right. So the reason I wanted to go to John Thomas was I saw there was this possible duplicate.
Right.
Now, I want to explore it. So I open it up, and I'm going to actually open up this in a new window so that I can take a look and see this person, is it a duplicate? And when I look at this and I'm evaluating, I want to see, are there any sources attached? Okay, I don't see sources. So I'm going to want to carefully look at all the people. So we've got John, we've got Joanna. Now we don't have sources attached to her, but I want to see if she is attached to anybody else. And so I have to actually open her up in a separate tab. And we can see, okay, we don't have her attached to anybody else. All right.
There's also a duplicate for her.
Right. And
Did you say you have no sources for Joanna?
remember, there are
There's a
many
duplicate.
Joannas. This particular Joanna that I'm looking at has 0 sources attached.
Okay.
And we're trying to decide whether this John Doyle with the NWQ is a duplicate of this John Doyle with the 7K4.
Yeah, because probably one's my dad. The 7K4 is my dad.
Well, both of them are born in 1879,
Oh, sorry.
right?
Yeah, that's my
Both of
grandfather.
them have children named Patrick and John.
Yeah.
We have a 5DJ and NWQ.
She's trying to see if there's a duplicate and get rid
Right.
of the duplicate.
Right.
So,
Remember, Brian, you created some duplicates
Yeah.
Right.
the other day.
Yeah.
so we've got what we want to do. The point that I want to get across here is before we conclude that this is a duplicate, we really have to investigate all the people. And when I saw John T. Doyle, wife named Joanna, children named Patrick and John. And when I looked at, I have John here. We have his brother Patrick. Now these are different numbers, but the ages, so we've got a Patrick Joseph born in 1877, a Patrick J born in 1878, a John Thomas born in 1879, a John T born in 1879. So I was inclined to think that they are the same person. Now, the one difference is this surname Daniels. So what I'm going to do is this. I am going to merge this John T. Doyle with the other one that I've been working with. And I am going
Wait a
to,
minute. Look up here on the latest changes. Those
Yes.
changes were made July 25th, July 25th.
right, and Brian is the person who made them.
Oh, okay,
Right.
okay.
So
Okay.
I'm going to note this name for Joanna Daniels as an alternative name for her. So let me go through and do this. We have this John. I'm going to accept that merge, and we're going to go through the merge review screen. I have already done the comparing, so I'm going to say yes, continue. Now it's asking me, what do I want to save? Green is saved, green is good. Red is going to be deleted or hidden. Remember, it's never deleted, it's just hidden in the changes. So I'm going to look through to see if there's any information that I need. And no, there isn't. So I'm going to go ahead.
Before you do, well, okay.
Okay, we can go back. Yes.
Let me split my screen and look at something. Hold on. I don't know how our time is doing.
I was just gonna go ahead and send it to the house.
Well, now, actually, Brian, let me go forward because what I'm
Okay.
going to do is not going to change anything for you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to merge these two people because I am confident that this John Thomas and JT are one human being, not two. But there is information that I need to retain, and I'm going to make sure to do that. All right?
Okay.
So they've given us all vital information, match, ID numbers, most vital information and relationships match. That one looks pretty good. I'm going to add that. And I am going to finish the merge. Now, remember that we had his wife, his mother, Joanna, was listed by as this Joanna Daniels. Now, I am going to go over here under other information, and I'm going to add the information of alternate name. And I'm going to put in Joanna Daniels and information posted without sources by Brian Doyle in what was it, July of 2020. And so I want to say C, I'm going to copy this Joanna Daniels ID.
By the way, it's Johanna with an H.
Well, I'm just going on the basis of the records that I found so far.
But what I'm saying is the record says it's Joanna with an H.
Oh, in the, but I didn't see a record for Joanna Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, it's just under the screen, isn't it?
There was no record that I saw attached to her. So we have Joanna.
Did you just see it right there?
Yeah,
Here's
her name.
Joanna Daniels.
With an
And there-
H. It's not,
okay.
it's not,
Right, but there were no sources attached.
oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go back to the Joanna, and I'm going to edit because you had noted her name that I had misspelled. Joanna with an H.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Now I am going to resolve the duplicates. I've already looked through them, so I've already determined that yes, I'm ready to continue. And now I'm going to see, is there information that I need to move over? Well, I want to note this down, that the previous researcher thought she was born in Alabama in 1854. So I'm going to copy that for a minute, but I'm not going to replace this information I have here. But there might be importance in this 1854 birth to see if there's anything else. And no. Okay. So now I'm going to say most vital information in a relationship, some minor conflicts. We'll put that and we'll finish the merge. Now, when you go to Joanna oh, I do want to go back to here. Where we put the alternate name, I'm going to add this, and I am going to put that this researcher also listed her as born in 1854 in Alabama. So even though that information is available in the change record, I like to put, there is no reason that you don't put it everywhere that you can. You want to leave as many crumbs out there for future researchers as you possibly can. Sorry, I added it to the wrong Joanna. Oh, no, I added it to the right one. There we go. Okay. All right, so now I just wanted to show you what happens to this person. If we go and we say, I want to go to Family Search, and I want to find her, and I have written this number down, this is what you're going to get. It's a person deleted. Let's go and look at her profile. It tells me she was deleted. This is the person who survived. This is the person who made the change. I can
This is the
look.
person you hunt down.
Pardon?
Never mind.
Okay. I can look at all the history for this Joanna Doyle back to when she was first created, back in 2012. So you never lose the information. You always, it will be preserved forever. So if somebody comes and they say, well, what's going on? They will be said, go check out this woman, and they'll check out that woman, and they'll get to see, oh, well, we have her alternately known as Joanna Daniels. We have sources here we can explore, and we, you know, so we can continue our research. So the message that I wanted to get across with this segment is use these different places to add information, to add explanations, to document what you know and how you know it, using the little pencil edits to pencil relationships to parents. Here's another pencil edit. What does this do? Let's take a look. We've got George W. Doyle and Joanna Myers. Okay, we have this marriage here in 30 November 1876, but we don't have a source attached. Let's go look to George and see what we've got for his marriage. And we've got 1876, George Doyle, Alabama marriages. That's an IGI extract. We can view that by browsing the film. I actually want to go into that and do that. So we're going to go to the next session, and we're going to find this actual marriage from 1876. And we're going to attach that so that we never see this, or we never are stuck with the browse the film business. You do that once and you think, I don't want to do that again. This is something that you're going to run into a lot, and it's actually a really good thing. For God's sakes, dogs, just decide. Sorry about that. Back in the day, a bunch of records got indexed, and so we had these record indexes, and we had drawers full of microfilm, and the only way the twain met was for you going, "Hi, Phil." Well, Linda.
Linda. You're getting the hang of it, aren't you, Linda?
She's getting there.
I keep clicking, and eventually I get you guys.
So
Doing
back
good.
in the day, you would go to the index online, then you would fly to Salt Lake City, and you would get the microfilm, and you would use the information from the index. Okay, we had George Doyle married on 30 November 1876 in Mobile to Joanna Myers. And then they said, you know, we've got these indexes and people are finding stuff using the index even without having somebody go in and digitally index the film. Let's just upload the film and hook it to the index. And so then you get something that says this record came from this set of images. You'll need to look through several images to find this record. And when you
You need
click
to do
on
that ergonomically correct.
what's that?
You need to do that ergonomically correct so you don't wind up with hand surgery.
Right, because this is what you end up with. You're going to end up with essentially a microfilm, and you're going to have to treat it the same way that you would treat a microfilm if you went to Salt Lake City. So you go to the information and we're saying, okay, I'm looking for a marriage that took place on 30 November 1876. Here is the microfilm. What the heck's going on? So if we look in, we can see that we've got Mobile County Probate Court microdex index. That doesn't sound like a marriage index. Penal sum. Okay, it is something to do with
Yes.
license to intermarry. Huh, okay. So these are, so we're having to start putting together some pieces. These are bondsmen posting bond for a marriage license. All right, and that's at the probate court. What is the time period? Okay, so here we're looking at April 1872. All right. So there is one disadvantage in that we're not sure which item on this microfilm we need to be looking at. And as you can see, there's at least two items. There's this item here that ends at this point. And then there's another item on this microfilm that goes on and on. Oh, and it ends there. And then we've got a third item that begins. So we want to see, is there any additional information here that we can get about it? Well, if I open this record up, it's going to open the index page for that. And we've got similar records, but see this I, document information. Sometimes, not always, often rarely, I would say usually not. They will give you some
Let me
information.
tell you about it anyway. You're not gonna find it. That's funny, Kay.
But sometimes it will tell you you want to go to item 3 or something like that. This one doesn't tell us the item number. It just tells us that it's the microfilm. So we're looking at this microfilm. We know that the microfilm has 3 sections. We want the section that would have marriages in, okay, here's the other thing. The collection title is Alabama Marriages, 1816 to 1957. That might be a help. Let's see. Here we have
White
White
marriage.
Marriages, book 26. And White Marriages, book 27. Okay, that didn't. So let's see, what is White Marriages, book 27? Let's just look at the next page. And we read on the inside, it says, DAR chapter has copied all of 1876. So this is, okay, so this is 1876, pages 1 through 206. This book completely finished. All right, so we're looking at 1876, which is what we want, November of 1876. And we see that the very first few pages are indexed, the A's, and we're looking for George Doyle. So we can thumb through like we would do if we were at the courthouse. We're at the B's, we're at the C's, and here's the D's. The C's continue. Okay, and we're just gonna look for Doyle. We've got George Doyle, Joanna Myers, page 201. Okay, time for a little math. Page 201. How many images away from 0 is going to be page 201? Well, it looks like we're running 2 pages per image. So 201 divided by 2 is 100. So I'm at 570 now. I'm going to jump to 670. And I am at
196.
I'm at page 196. I'll just jump forward a couple more. And here we are at 201. And we have George Doyle, Joanna Myers, M-Y-E-R-S, maiden, over 18 years of age. That's important because that tells us that this is her maiden name. Sometimes you will see it as Miss Joanna Myers. So you might, if you're not sure, you might want to look around and see how others handle it. Okay, so.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Make sure that when you source this, you put up at the top image, what is it, 672 of 747. Because
Right.
if you put in page 201, you're going to be looking all over the place.
Why can't we just download it and then attach it to the tree?
Well,
That's fine too, but make sure
we
you
are
put that in
going
there.
to We
Gotcha.
are going to
Experience
download
talking.
it. Why are we going to download it? Because they may take it away from us. They do that all the time. So yes, we're going to download it.
So we would download, if it's for our personal family, we would download it to this and then upload it to this tree, but then have it in our personal files, like on our own computer too? Is that what you're
Yes,
recommending?
I
yes,
would,
yes.
because Ellis Island is a prime example of that.
And
What-
Chicago, Cook
Huh?
County, Chicago, they took
Yeah.
away. They
Yeah.
used to have all of their marriage records free, and then they said, no, there's gold in them there hills. And so now you have to pay through the nose. So you download and save it. Now, I want to create a link to this page so that nobody has to thumb through. No more of this browsing business. All right, so I'm going to add this source to my source box. And I am going to say that it is the Doyle to Myers 1876 marriage in Alabama County marriages, and I'm going to get rid of all of the rest. And I can save that to a particular folder. I could create a folder if I want, or in this case, I'm just going to leave it as my home folder. I can add notes and save it. Now, when I go back to George, and let's go here, I'm going to close the index for a moment. I'm going to add a source from SourceBox. And it's going to be the first one on my list. So I am going to go over and I'm going to attach it. I am going to be lazy and not give a reason. Though they're getting pretty good about forcing you to give reasons for things, which is good. All right. So
Just say because I said so. That's plenty.
right. Sometimes my reason is I'll put equals, or I'll just have a dot. All right, so I have Doyle to Myers 1876 marriage in Alabama County marriages. When you click on that, you don't see anything, but when you click on the link,
And you get
it takes you directly to that image page.
672. Okay.
Okay. Now, I want to actually edit this, and I'm going to do that because I want to put behind this the word image. And I'll also put the date, 30 November 1876, so that it will show up in chronological order. And I'll save that. But the reason that I do that is I'm going to end up having a lot of marriage records because we've got all of these indexes that I'm going to save to my computer. Here's a typed up index, probably a copy of that DAR. I save all of them because I don't want them to come back when I'm doing a record search and get me all excited thinking that, oh, here's a record I haven't looked at. No, it's just a 48th copy of the index that I've already done. So I'm going to go and I'm going to save all of, oh, sorry, not that. I'm going to save all of these. And there we go. And see, I'm not adding the marriage every time. I've already got it once. Okay.
Okay, that's what I was thinking that Brian could do, and
Yes.
he would learn from it.
I am going to leave him the rest of these. I'm going to leave him the rest of these.
Okay.
All right. Now, I am also going to go down to this and edit this marriage information, and I'm going to add the source. I have a specific source in my source box. I'm going to attach that source. Whoops, not that one. I'm going to attach the one that says image. Okay. There we go. And now you see why I want that word image in there. Because now we've got so many records that it becomes difficult to keep track of them.
It's just identification, right?
Pardon?
It's just identification, right?
To identify, this is,
Yeah.
so I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 3 sources attached that are related to George's 1876 marriage. This is the one that has the original image on image 672. Okay?
Yeah.
And so I can see that. Now, you want to double check and see, okay, that's just an index, because there might be other marriage collections. Now, this one, they have actually gone through and indexed it. So this also takes us directly to the image. Does that mean we don't need to download it and save it our computer? No, we always download and save it on our computer.
And put where you found it.
Right. And so we can copy the information citation right here. Just click copy citation. And now I can go back to the entry, and where is the record found? They have their citation. I can add mine. The one that I had with the image here, I can, oh, I've already done that. Okay. So you can, you've got the, it says image 672 of 747. And this one is the typewritten transcript. And this one is the second one that was
Really?
an image. So I'm going to also put image duplicate. So I don't get excited. I do know it's got an image, but it's an image I've already seen. Again, leave plenty of breadcrumbs, because this record is going to be around for your great-grandchildren. And they're probably going to be trying to research KR in Florida to find out how she's connected to their family. Okay. So, to summarize, use these editing. Don't hesitate to create people. And we left this with George having a couple of spurious nieces and nephews. And so we need to go back to these nieces and nephews, and we should add a note to them that the relationship to the Doyle family is not, is just a hypothesis. All right. So this was, okay. 1880 census shows Thomas A. Doyle as nephew of Margaret Kelly.
Given that, yes, it's a hypothesis today, and it may turn out to be not a hypothesis, but actual facts for this family, should we not only maybe document up there at the top where you say this relationship is to the Doyle family is hypothesized as of, say, today's date or before
Well, it's going to be
further
as of
research?
today's date.
But I mean, before further research or something? Pending.
So when
That's
you
a good
look at
idea,
it,
Tina.
we've got August 1st is when this,
Yeah, and I realize that it always timestamps it, but I just meant something to indicate. Say, I come along in 10 years, I'm going to just disregard all this because I'm like, oh no, that was just hypothesized. So I'm saying maybe if it said pending future research, pending I don't know, somehow
Okay.
it seems to.
Further review.
There you go.
That's a good way.
I agree.
okay, good point. And it's easy to do. As of August 2020, relationship to the Doyle family is hypothesized. And, you know, we would do the same thing
Mary.
to the other one. So we'll go over to her and nope, yep. So we need to get this Richard Highland, and I would even put it in here, put it everywhere. Oh, I already got that one down there. Got that one there.
Now,
It was Mary that needed to have the additional.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go, and with Mary, we're going to be really good. We're going to go both places. So we've got that, and we copy this, and we save that. And let's also put that on her relationship. Let's just add our relationship notes. Let's get really lazy. Okay, so we'll save that. We'll go over to Mary, and we'll save this. This is a tool chest. So we want to use all the tools. Now, you know, we're gonna go through, and we would just do the, you know, the standard census research. And I'm going to leave that to somebody else. I've given them enough to go on, and I'm not going to get off. I'm going to let Brian research that. Oh, I got to look at it. Just can't help myself. Does somebody have this? No, but somebody is doing, somebody back in 2012 was doing research on it. And they thought that it was
Family Search that did that, Kay.
Yeah, that means, remember, 2012 means that this is ported over from the original Family Search family tree. And they've lost the names of all of the contributors. So that's why it says Family Search. just because the contributors are gone. So you'd still want to, you know, take a look. There might be something useful in there. You don't know. Okay. Now, that covers the nuts and bolts that I wanted to do on the Doyle tree. Any questions related to this part? You can always ask me questions even later. But of course, I still want to talk about stuff.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. I didn't know if you meant just up to this part. Are you going to go over the hint thing that Bernie was talking about for Brian?
Yes. Well, I hope that he joins us again, but Brian, if you don't get to join us again, you want to look on the person page. This is the person profile page for an individual. And research help, we have different kinds of icons. The exclamation point means there's something that needs correcting. It might be a duplicate. It might be that a date is incorrectly formatted. It could be a location is incorrectly formatted. It is telling you there is something structurally wrong that needs to be addressed in the tree. Next are the blue. These are telling you what happens is that the master computer at Salt Lake City takes the information from the profile. We have a name, George William Doyle. We have a gender. We have a birthplace. We have the names of other family members. And it takes that and it runs the data through all of its collections, looking for any collections, looking for any records that might
What is that?
belong to this George William Doyle. It's not that they do belong, it's that they might. What you have to do is you have to go in and you have to look at the data and you have to examine it to see whether it is real. Now in this case, okay, it comes from the set of images. I don't like to stop here. Now here we have a George Doyle marrying Margaret McElroy in 30 January of 1849. And it's, you know, I've already got that, so I wish there was one. Let's see if I can find one that, okay. So let's say we've got this George W. Doyle of 1910. You look at this information, I would still, and the names look good, I would still go right-click on the image, open up the drop-down menu, look at the image itself, and be absolutely sure that it is your George Doyle. Based on everything that you know about him, you know his age, you know his place, you know the names of his children. Before you attach it. And then when you do, you review and attach and go through. I'm going to leave that for Brian because it's always fun to discover stuff. And then the other thing that you want to do whenever you create somebody on Family Search, for all your family members, you want to go through, let's go through to my tree. So we're looking at my tree. And you can expand your tree out. Now, if I click on this, it opens up the index card. And I have blackened in the star to say that I'm following him. So you want to go through and make sure that you have blackened in all the stars for all your people and that you are following them all.
You have to do that individually?
Pardon?
You have to do that individually?
Individually, yes. And then you have to go in and you have to click on the children.
Same thing.
And do them. And so you see the advantage of doing it from the tree screen is that we can navigate more quickly. So here's Edmund. I hadn't followed Edmund, so now I'm going to do Edmund. Now I'm going to go and check. Boy, I just think about, what is it, Abba Eban, who is the Prime Minister of Israel or something. This is Abba Ellen. And the reason that you want to do all of these is that you're creating an index to your family tree. You'll be able to go to the tab here for following, and now you can do a search by name. And so we can see, I do not like what they have done. They have, of course, improved things.
Not really.
Yeah, I do not like this because it used to be a nice orderly index of them.
And they used to send emails at the end of the month. They don't do that anymore.
They don't?
Well,
Oh,
they're
golly. Are you,
I got one last week.
I've
Yeah,
been getting
they-
them. Yeah, I got mine today.
Oh, okay,
check your
that's what
settings.
I just said.
But
I
the
I guess
other
everybody
thing-
has given up on Ethel Cotter.
The other thing that I do not like is it used to be that I could do a search by location,
Mm.
and they do not allow that anymore. And that is a huge, huge loss. I will have to,
You gonna write them a tersely
wait.
worded letter?
yeah. That's really a problem. That's, well, okay, so this makes it doubly important that you memorize where all of your family might possibly have been from, because there's, oh man, I am so ticked off.
Now, of course, you know that you can do that in the legacy program.
Oh, would you shut up? I knew you were going to say that.
I'm just saying.
And of course, what was going through my mind,
Well, that brings me to a
there's another
question.
place that I can find, or I can reset it.
We can't download from the family search tree to upload to our family legacy, can we? Or to our legacy?
That's a whole nother day. And
Oh,
yes,
but
you can.
Okay, okay.
You
You don't have to go
can.
into it. I just didn't know that it was even a thing you could do.
Yes, you
Legacy's
can
wonderful.
harvest. You can harvest your family tree. I am going to have to ask them why they have removed the option to search by location, because that is a crushing loss. All right, so
I do agree with you, Diane. There's a lot that you can do with legacy that you can sort through matches. It's amazing. I do enjoy that.
just remember, if you have not saved it to family tree, that it is ephemeral. And if you're okay with your research being ephemeral, liable to disappear,
I'm not okay with
Then-
that.
then the hell with
You
you,
know, we'll
because
talk
that is not
later.
fair. What?
Oh, I'm not okay with that. No,
Yeah.
that's not acceptable. But
And you know, the thing is, I want your research available to me now, every minute of every day. I want to access everything you found so that I can be building on it. So I am
Take
perfectly
information in
fine.
legacy and put it on Family Search. You know that, Kay.
You keep promising.
Well, I haven't worked on it for a year, you know that, so.
Right. And
I'm just saying, we don't need to go down this rabbit trail. It's an unhappy ending, so move on.
I am making sure that nobody else falls in your rut.
I'm
So-
not in a rut.
Diane thought, I am going to get my tree done, and then I'm going to transfer it all to the Family Search website.
there's no such thing as getting your tree done.
Or she was going to get a lot done. She was going to make big progress, and then she was going to transfer it all. Well, then she got,
But then how many dupes are you creating when you do that?
well,
Because I've been reluctant to upload mine because I didn't want to create a bunch of duplications
you can,
profiles.
it's tricky to do. It is tricky to do. And that is why I really argue that you need to do it in tandem. Do not do work on ancestry or legacy that you have not brought to Family Tree, because ancestry and legacy are ephemeral. They are something for your own private amusement, but they will disappear. There is one other thing that, because you know, there's lots of things to cover, and I just wanted to cover this other cool thing that I remembered called Map of Us. And so this is the Map of Us.
Oh,
I think we're all on.
Map of us as people or map of us as USA?
Yeah.
Map of Us is USA, but I always think of it as Map of Us.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. Now, let's see. I want to. Okay. Do you see a map of us with nothing else?
Right. Yes.
Just words.
Just words, map of us. Yeah.
Just words. Okay, good. All right. So, Map of Us, easy to remember. This was back with Alfred Shiver. Have no idea how I got onto Alfred. Somehow connected to the Chavers. So I have an 1840 census of Alfred Shiver, and I'm, for reasons of my own, I am researching, the Chivers and the Shavers. And so I have Alfred, and he is in the 1840 census, living in Dooley, Georgia. He's between 20 and 30 years of age. His wife is between 20 and 30 years of age. And they have 2 young children, a little boy and a little girl.
Kay, can I interrupt? Are you in a source document or are you on the actual census?
This is the 1840 census.
Right, but are you, when you have this image in front of me, is that from I guess what I'm saying is, if you're in your family tree, is that the source document you clicked on in your family tree, or never mind. It's
Here,
a source.
let's go to
It
it.
is attached to, no, it's not, is it? Because we were looking to find
All right, so here's
Amos
Alfred,
Dorsey's father. Yeah.
and
okay.
here's Alfred's 1840 census.
Okay.
That's what I was looking at.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so you went into your tree and you got your source document.
Right. So this is the census that I've got, and my question was, so here's Alfred or Alfred, Okay. And the reason that I'm showing you it on here is because I get to draw lines and stuff on it. And so I pulled it into PowerPoint. So the question was, when I look at the 1850, or when I do a search for Alfred Shiver, I come up with Alfred in 1840 in Dooley, and I don't have another Alfred. I have an Alfred in Lee County, Georgia, and I have an Alfred in Tallapoosa County, Alabama, and they're both born around the same time, so either one could be that guy.
Except my people are from Lee County.
Don't be pulling the rabbit out of the bag.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Okay.
So sorry. But show me how you, yeah, go ahead. How did you get there?
The point here is that we want to think about location. So when I look at and we want to think about analyzing records. So when I look at the 1850 census, could this be our guy? We have a man who is 20, okay, in 1850, he is 34, so he would have been 24 in 1840, which fits the age 20 to 30. His wife is 28, she would have been 18, which doesn't quite fit, but you know. We have James, who would have been 2. That would be our boy under 5. For our girl under 5, we do have a girl who might have been, you know, months old. So that's possible. The other family, we had Alfred would have been 23. Mary would have been 20. But we have no children. Of course, it's possible that the children may have died. But let's take a look at the locations. And so we look at map of us, and I always Google it every time. I have no idea, is it a .com, a .edu, a .org? I don't try to remember. I make it a 2-step process. Map of us, it's the first thing that comes up. And by thinking about map of us, it's just such a ridiculous term that you will always remember it. And we get to the historical atlases and maps of the US, scroll down, and we pick our state, Georgia. That opens up a lot of information about Georgia, and scroll down, and this is the cool part. This is the interactive map of Georgia County formation history. What we're seeing is an outline of Georgia counties for the year 1758. And these codes are down here, so you can read what they say.
Maybe you can read it, but I can't see it.
Okay, let's go to
Make it bigger.
map of us. The one problem with using the PowerPoint is you're stuck with whatever size I chose. Okay.
Well, we're old people, Kay.
I
Keep
know.
bigger.
Okay, that's the nice thing. Okay, to go bigger, you hold down your control key and you run your wheel on your mouse in and out. And if people are bothering you by looking over your shoulder, you just do this a whole bunch until they get seasick. Okay?
I'll remember that.
Yes.
That's a good one. I like it.
Yes. Because I get seasick when I do it. Okay. All right. You can actually, this is kind of cool, you can actually watch the history of Georgia going by. And, you know, it gives you little, so it gives you what happens in each period that it changed. But heck with that. We're interested in going down and looking at a particular year. We've got the 1834 census, sorry, the 1840 census and the 1850 census. So let's see what was going on in 1838. We've got a whole lot of counties in 1838. And this is the abbreviations. So where's the abbreviation for Dooley County? Dooley is D-O-O. And if you have a hard time finding it, you can always right-click and open Dooley in a new window. Go to that window and you'll see Dooley in its current location, which will give you some clue as to where it is. Where are you, Dooley? Where's Dooley now? Well, it used to, it doesn't any longer. You know, things were better in my youth. So now you have to go and tell it to map it, which is a multi-step. Whereas before you used to be able to just glance over, oh, heck with that. So never mind. You're gonna have to dig through, and it gets hard when you have to go look at all of these things, but Dooley is right here.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Okay. And the 1850 census for Lee County is right next door.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. This is a good, reasonable transition. Now, this is Dooley and Lee County in 1838. Let's see what it is in 1850. So I'm going to go to the next change, which is 1850. Now, I want you all to take your finger and put it on the line between Lee and Dooley. Do you have that?
Yes.
And now we're going to go to previous. You can see it has not changed. So that means that they must have actually moved from Lee to Dooley. Sometimes you will see that a county line changes, and so you can estimate or hypothesize that maybe they did not move, maybe the county moved around them. So if this person who we find in CLI, which is Clinch County in 1850, but we found them in Ware County in 1840, well, they didn't move. The county name changed. So this is very cool. Now there's an even better one on Google Earth, and we may do the Google Earth presentation. How long ago did we do Google Earth?
A long time ago, but it's a
Before
good.
my time.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
it's
gonna
good.
have to do Google Earth. Google Earth is challenging, but there's an even better map than this on Google Earth. So this is to get you a taste of it. Now, then going back to looking at all right, so we have got Dooley and Lee County, and let's see where Tallapoosa, Alabama. Well, I had to pull that up. It's actually a good distance away. So, you know, so the combination of the ages of people, even though Sarah is too young at 18, would expect her to be over 20. The children fit, the little boy, the little girl, and especially the clincher to me is that these counties are right next to each other. And then, of course, the fact that you've got them in 1860, 70, and 80. So that, oh, that's not all. For those of you who are, Linda, if she's still with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, I go until people just die of exhaustion. Because I go until I start getting foggy on the brain. So now for something different. Oh yes, this is a computer tool tip that I wanted to share with you guys. I got up this morning and I was getting ready for the session today, and I saw that I had these slides about Alfred Shivers, and I have no recollection of him at all, because those buffers had been emptied and refilled so many times that, you know, all imprint of Alfred Shivers was gone. So I needed to go back to my Google history and find out what was I looking at. And I knew from looking at the date in my so looking at the date for, no, I've already saved it. Looking at the date for the presentation on Alfred Shiver, I knew that I had made it last Sunday. And so I wanted to see what was I looking at last Sunday. Now, when you go to Google normally and you just say, I want to see my history, Control H, you get the endless scrollable, and you can just scroll forever. And if you want to scroll to last Sunday, you'll be here till next Sunday scrolling through. That wasn't going to work. So I went.
Don't they have like a find or something, like Control F or something like that?
If I can do a search, but I want to see what, the problem with that is I don't know if Alfred was at the beginning or what. I mean, I could do a search for Alfred, well, spell it right. I could do a search for Alfred Shriver, for Alfred, and I come up with stuff. But this is even cooler. So Chrome history by date. And that gives you an extension that you can add to your Chrome browser. If you are using a different browser, Firefox or something, you'll want to do a search for, or if you're using a different, right, browser. See, I'm already beginning to get faded here. So this will be the last item. Let's say you're using Firefox as your browser. You would want to do a search for
Firefox.
Right, Firefox history. Now, and you'll get something similar. All right, so this is a browser that's actually created by a person, and you add it. It has a sign, add to Chrome, and it becomes this little blue clock.
Yeah.
And when you do that, your searches show up in a calendar format. And so you can go scrolling through them.
Oh.
And,
And
when you,
other than memory loss, why would you want to keep your history?
because you remember, I remember seeing a really cool website on, coconut curry. I saw a coconut curry recipe, and so I want to find it again. I was looking at it, a couple of weeks ago, and so you can go back and you can look at your history. I'm always looking at my history.
Okay.
All right.
Now, and so once you've done that and got the little blue clock up there, so now every day you're on there Googling, that history will keep adding to that by day by day. You see what I'm saying?
What it does is it takes the Google history. It's not doing anything until you click on the blue button.
It makes it searchable.
And then it takes your history and it organizes it for you.
Right. But it doesn't add to it, like tomorrow you Google something, you have to, is that going to show up?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Because
Okay.
all right. So I'm doing stuff
Right now.
and if I use Google's history, I do Control H and it gives me a history starting with right now,
Okay.
12/31.
As long as you allow Google to record your history, or you don't have it marked to not save your history,
Right.
then all this is a tool that allows your history to be searchable, because I do use this, so I know I know about this tool.
And so every time I click the button, it's going to take a look at all my Google history, and it's just going to immediately organize it.
Okay. Okay.
And actually, it's going to come back with your most recent search. So I want to go through that first before I show you. So you can pick a date. It gives you that date clumped up into sessions. So there was a session from 7 a.m. to 7:30, a session from 10:30 to 10:45 to 11. So it gives me sessions that I can look at. Well, I remember I was looking at it on Sunday morning. You can then open these sessions up. You can do searches or exclude websites. So I don't want to see anything from Ancestry at all. So exclude all of the Ancestry. And now I'm only seeing my search results, or the searches where I went to the family search, where I went to any place but Ancestry. When you click on this bar, it goes through and it looks at the websites you looked at that day, and you can exclude those just by clicking on it. And then you can do a Control F to do a find. So I want to see, I want to see all the YouTube entries, and so you can find YouTube. So it gives you a lot of power to really drill down. And this happens to me often, where I will, I'll be researching a family, and there will be, Carlotta Jones. I'll look at her briefly, but I'm not interested in her, and I move on. And then a couple of weeks later, I find that Carlotta Jones is important. And I want to find that record that I saw about Carlotta Jones. maybe I looked at 500 Carlotta Joneses. This lets me narrow down. Well, it was, you know, it was on Ancestry. It was on an ancestry tree. So you can tailor your search. And so that's just my computer tip of the week. I was very excited about that one because it really made things a lot easier. I love to be able to manipulate
Scrolling
my
through
data.
500 things made it easier for you.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you noticed this, but I kind of had to laugh. Let me do a share again. So if we look at if we look at a date, this is yesterday. So between yesterday and yesterday,
654 things yesterday.
right? That's just the pages that I went through yesterday. You know, in this, you know,
Hey, you need a life.
I've got a life. I've got a life. So, you know, when you go through and you look at
What you're doing.
you know, a lot of pages, you want to be able to.
Is there any Ethel Cotter in there? If there's no Ethel Cotter, it was a wasted day.
I wonder. Okay, so we can undo that. So I think that to find out if, because that raises a good question, if I want to see Ethel Cotter,
Remember, there is a reward out for her.
right? So I would want to do a deep history search. I'll have to look into that. How do I find, do a deep search? Because I know I've searched for Ethel. Why is she not showing up on my?
Have you searched for her
search?
since you implemented the Chrome extension?
Well, this is just the regular.
She is
Chrome
evading
history.
everybody.
Even
Does
Google
not want
Chrome?
to be found. What'd you say?
I said, even the Google Chrome extension. She's
Can't
not
find
going to
her.
be found there.
Nope, nobody can find her.
Right. Well, you know, that's because she should show up on my regular history. So I'll have to figure
Oh, I
out.
see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out why she's not. It might be that I had to clear my history recently because I recall that I was having some computer problems, and so the guy I was getting help from said, well, you need to clear your cache and clear, you know, clear your browser history. And I was like, clear my browser history? Yeah, you're gonna have to clear your browser. Oh, so that might have been, but anyhow. So that, you know, covered a lot of
So
time.
if you clear your browser, you won't be able to find any of that stuff, right?
I know. You know, so no, I don't clear browsers. I'll clear my cookies, I'll clear my cache. I will not clear my history. And so I'm a little concerned not to find Ethel. And that's one reason why. It's like, why am I not finding Ethel in my history? She should be in my history. So now I'm gonna have to, now I know that what I'm gonna do when we sign off here, I'm gonna find out what's wrong with my history that I am missing Ethel. Okay.
I say all the time. Where's Ethel?
I know.
So I have a question going back to the Alfred Chavers with the Sarah Chavers there. Are you suggesting that that is my Sarah Chavers?
No.
Or no, okay.
No.
Just my double.
There was actually a law passed at some point in Alabama that everybody named Chavers had to marry a woman named Sarah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
you're
explains
going
a
to run
lot.
into a lot of them, unfortunately, as a
serious?
consequence.
There's a ton of them.
Right.
Even Jasper's mother's
I have to go,
Chavers,
everybody.
but he
Goodbye.
marries one. Bye. Have a good
I'll
week.
call you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Linda. I'll call you soon.
Yeah.
I have a question. I sent you an email about Hope Chest on Family Search. Did you?
Hope Chest.
Yeah. Something you can do on Family Search. It's called Hope Chest.
That sounds fun.
A tree or something. I don't know. I wanted you to look at it.
I missed that.
Okay. I'll resend it to you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so, the big thing is, yes, it is a complicated platform, but it does provide for documenting. Don't be hesitant to use it as a research tool, creating profiles for people you aren't quite even sure exist. You can just document, I don't really know if this person's real or not. It gives you a platform to start from. Another thing that I like about it, and I wish that I had thought of this before I let Diane go, is that by doing your research on Family Search, you will discover people who are researching your family. And they may have much deeper research than you do. And if you're doing your research off on the side on Legacy and planning to upload it, you won't be aware of the deep research that other people have done. Not that it's correct what they've done, but if there are a pile of crumbs sitting over there, I want to look at them and see if any of them are edible. I love metaphors.
One quick question before everybody goes, or announcement. Is anybody besides me worried about saving? First of all, anybody that's on Ancestry that has done their DNA test, are any of you working towards saving your 6 to 8 centimorgans that are being deleted this month? Ancestry is doing they're introducing a new algorithm. They're doing this on the pretenses, or this is what they're saying to us, oh, we're deleting false matches. And that's true. Some of these are false matches, but some of these are the key people that we need to have as genealogists when we're doing research to bust down that brick wall. Or particularly, these matches are necessary when you're trying to establish Native American heritage, and especially African American heritage, when you want to get past emancipation and past slavery. And so I was just wondering if everybody is aware of it, if anybody's working towards saving any of those matches, and if I'm the only one that's just neurotic about it.
I have a stupid question. How do you save it?
Okay, the only way you're able to save it on Ancestry will not delete your matches if you have put a star by it, if you have put a note on it, if you have messaged that person, or if you have added them to a group. I don't have time. I manage 28 kits currently, and I have about 10 more in the process of waiting for their test results to come in. And I don't have time, because about a third of our matches are going away. I don't have time to sort through them that way. I'm just adding all of them that I can to I'm sorting through. I am doing that. Like, I know the vast majority of this person that I have their DNA test, the vast majority of their family comes from North Carolina. I'm sorting all 6 to 8 centimorgan matches. If they have someone born in North Carolina in their tree, I'm trying to save those and add those to a group.
So you're putting a star or something next to it?
Well, you can use the star. I hate to use the star because then when I'm actually actively researching, I'll want to use that star for other purposes. So I'm just creating a group that says 6 to 8 centimorgans, and I'm adding them to that group. And I have an email on it that I can send to you if you'd like.
Would you?
Yeah. Which email address is yours?
Okay.
Thank you.
What's your email address?
Oh, Wood Miriam, Miriam @bellsouth.net. Thank you, Tina.
Send it to everybody, Tina. I think
to send it to our list on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
It was actually match to two brothers and it was a between 6 and 8 centimorgan match to two brothers that was able to identify that my Daniel Abbott was the son of Ebenezer Abbott, because I had no documentary trail. I had, a good hypothesis, but I could not say without a doubt it's definitely this guy until I found that there was a match with those two brothers, and then a match, that same segment matching their somebody who descended from their maternal great uncle. And so that is going to be a huge loss. I'm just
Well, back in, I didn't know about the first time they did it. I've in the genealogy community, they're calling it, I think, Genomageddon, and said we lost about 50%. This was before I was into it, and this time we're going to lose about a third. And they're not wrong in saying that they're trying to eliminate false matches, and it's going to eliminate some. But what the problem is they sold hundreds of thousands of kits that they don't have the servers now to service us. And there's a lot of lags and issues going on. And so in order to eliminate that problem, if they drop off all these extra matches, that's going to alleviate some space on the server. That's going to help a lot in what they're doing.
exactly.
I take issue with them. I honestly do. And I don't
it has
like to.
nothing to do with helping us.
No, it doesn't. And I take issue specifically on this, and it's getting into a little bit of politics, which I try to avoid. But they have, they released that press announcement, I think about a month ago. They had their hearts out to the Black community, and they're with the Black community, with George Floyd and all that had happened. Yet what they're doing to the Black community specifically, because if you want to be able to figure out their ancestry past slavery, we need these matches.
Right.
And while it's not on that terms, it's not affecting me personally that I know of, but only because I haven't gone back that far yet. So my arm is killing me today because I've spent the last week literally clicking and using my touchpad, touch.
Right.
But I just wondered if anybody else knew about this, if anybody else was working on it, if everybody would kind of wanted to see what everybody's thoughts were on it, if they thought that I'm crazy to try to save any of them, if it's important to anybody but me. Just kind of wanted to.
I just felt helpless about it.
Me too. But I figured what I can save, I can save. But what the problem will be going forward, yes, I manage a lot of kits, and some are family, but a lot are clients. And those future clients, I don't know them yet. I can't help them save that yet. And it's just, there's a lot of petitions going around. Sign the petition and try to get Ancestry to change their ways. This is a bottom line thing. That petition's not going to do anything, in my opinion.
Ancestry is, I think they really need to take a good hard look at their business model, because their DNA platform is terrible.
Amen.
Their analysis tools are terrible. That's why they're dying.
Excuse me, does GEDmatch help at all with this?
But GEDmatch, we run into that whole privacy issue, and they recently had a big thing on that. So, people are very leery about uploading to GEDmatch.
Okay, I was just interested
Ancestry
in preserving
continues to be.
information.
Well, it may help to conserve some things. I do already have all my kits on GEDmatch. What I have been doing is using DNA GEDCOM, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but there's some YouTube videos on it, because I'm certainly not experienced enough to teach anyone on how to do it. But I've been using that as well. But the problem with saving it on
We're about to die.
Okay.
You want to go to a new session?
Do you guys want to go to a new
Yeah.
session?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's grab it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Beth.